Billie Eilish has done it again. The Greatest is another one of those fantastic songs that she writes so well and her brother plays beautiful guitar on. It's a fairly simple song, but the production is really something awesome and it's fairly easy to play. So I'm going to take you through it. I'm going to do the whole tab. I'm not going to do any singing because I do like Billie Eilish. Download your chart and follow this tab all the way through. My dog's going to cry from the other room because he really likes Billie Eilish as well. And here we go. The chords are A minor 7, but we're using our pinky on the 3rd fret of the E string for that G note there. Normally an A minor 7 just has to have a G in it somewhere. Often it's the open string. We're going to do both. And our picking pattern is going to be this. We're going to use the thumb for our bass note only, and our 3 fingers for the top 3 strings. And that's going to make things flow a little bit more smoothly than if you try and jump across with your thumb. If it feels a little bit weird to start with, persevere with it because it does help this flow. If you're not a player that's used to using all 3 fingers, 4 if you like, persevere because it'll be a really good skill to build up. So we start like this and we play the A string. For the A minor 7 we play the open A string with our thumb and we pick the B string with our 2nd finger. So the B string is our 2nd finger, the G string is our 1st finger, and our 3rd finger takes the E string. So it's like this. Then we move to a G major 7. Now, because we're not picking all of these strings, we can do a really simple G major 7 shape with 2 fingers, playing the G bass note and our major 7 note here, the F sharp, on the E string. Again, normally we would be playing more notes. We would have that B note in there as well in a G chord, or we play like that, but it's pretty simple to do it this way. Same picking pattern. We run through that little 4-bar section twice. On the second time through, you stop on that B note, which is just short of halfway through that bar. Then we move into the other section of the verse, which starts the same way. It's A minor 7 again. But this time it goes to an E minor add 9, which again, if you wanted to just do that, normally we would have those 2 notes there and our 9 there. But again, because we're not picking the E, the A or the D strings, you can do that. In the very next bar, put your G bass note on, don't change anything else because the E minor add 9 is very, very closely related to the G major 7. So it goes from back to the start of that line again. The second time through, we end with that D, and you put your pinky on for a D sus4 and lift it off again right at the end of that bar. That's the verses. And the second verse, even though I've put a little bit of extra tab in there to cover some of the extra notes, if you listen closely to this recording, it's a couple of guitars overdubbed. Like it's a left-hand ear guitar and a right-hand ear guitar. It's 2 guitars, panned left and right. The one on the left comes in and does some extra things in the second verse, which I've added to your tab. You don't have to do that. You can just play the second verse exactly the same as the first verse, if you like. But the chorus, when we finish up those 2 notes on our D chord, we go to a C add 9, and again, you could play a C, straight C major chord here, it would sound all right. I think it's a C add 9, and I think it kind of adds to the etherealness of the sound of this track. Baby, I'm the greatest. And I've put your strumming pretty accurately there on the tab. It's going to go like this. Then we move to an E minor. At the end of this, you move that C add 9, you move down, move the bass note down to a B. Technically it's going to be something slightly different than a C add 9 over B, but I thought it was simplest to describe it like that because you're just moving our C bass note down to a B. Then we move into the second line of the chorus, A minor 7, and again you could play an A minor there, but I think an A minor 7 is probably a little bit more accurate. E minor again, D, and this time when we get to the C, we just strum once and hold it. Then it heads back into 4 bars of the beginning of the verse. And then into the second verse. Now the second verse, like I said, there's an extra little couple of notes here on the guitar. If you want to play them, it'll go something like this, but it comes in on the third line. So the first line again is repeated the same way. It's pretty much identical to the first verse, except you don't cut the bar short on the second pass through. So you go. On bar 4 of this verse, he adds that major third note in our G major 7. So however you want to do that, again, if you don't want to, don't do it, but however you want to add that note, that's in there on the final bar. Repeat that line. On the second time through, I don't think that he does add that B note there, but you can put it there if you like, and it's in your tab just for simplicity's sake. Then we add these notes. Now the picking pattern is the same, but we're actually adding with one of our fingers, we're adding this little hammer on the D string. Alright, and again, it's a different guitar doing it, but if you want to play it all on one guitar, and then at the end of that little bar, we slide from the 4 on the D, the F sharp, up to the G, and we hold it and we kind of slide down, back down to the A minor. But when we get back down there, we're hammering on again. So the first 2 bars of that line, like this. When we get to the E minor next, you're doing the same thing. You're still playing that open B string when you start, but you're hammering the D string onto the 2nd fret. Moving to the G minor 7. Second time through, into the chorus again. Man, I am the greatest. My congratulations. Down to the B. Stop on the C at 9 and hold it. Then it moves into this really interesting end section So when we get to the bridge, you can use power chords, you can use open chords. I've tabbed it out as power chords because the production behind it is massive at this point. And so you are just hitting these chords and holding them for 4 beats, and then you go to C. On the 4th beat of this bar, on beat 4, you drop that bass down to B, and you hold the rest of the C chord. Then you do G for 2 bars. That little pattern goes 3 times through. Then on the 4th time, instead of going to the G, it goes to the E minor and a big E minor. Make sure you get the full chord there, and then A. And then it finishes off, everything pulls back, single strums each bar. And I am the greatest, God, how I hate it. D. And just walk through these chords again. C, again with the C you can play a normal open C chord. A minor, E minor, D, and C. And that's how it ends. Another cracker from Billie Eilish. I hope that was useful for you. Thanks for watching. Check out some of my other Billie Eilish lessons on this channel, and see you here again soon. Thanks again.